Hello, welcome to Self-Love, Self-Care System Conversations with Experts. I move on to asking you a little bit about your writer's journey, and you can tell me anything you want about, because so many people want to get into writing, and it's not an easy journey, let's put it like that. But as Kitty is in this published arena, let's find out what we can about the writer's journey.
Okay. Yes, I mean, everybody's journey to publication is different, so I can't speak broadly, but I can speak about me. And ironically, I've always wanted to write. I've wanted to write since I was tiny at primary school, and I've tried my hand a couple of times, but life always got in the way. I was a lone parent. I was working full time as a teacher, and it is hard to carve out the time. I tried, but I wasn't as good at it as perhaps I could have been. And then, ironically, I got really poorly, which meant that I had to give up work. I couldn't always parent the way I wanted to, although I tried. And it took me a couple of years to adjust to that. But then I realized that this was an opportunity. It's about reframing narrative again, and that this was an opportunity to chase a dream. And that whilst I was hoping to go back to teaching, I could use this time on the days that I was well enough to try and write. So I did that, and if I wasn't able to write right, then I would try and use the time to research the industry. And I think that's key. I think if you want to write, to become a professional, that you need to know the business of it. You need to get out there, you need to study the Writers and Artists Handbook, you need to network on Twitter, you need to understand the realities of publishing, you need to see what agents are looking for what, you need to match yourself up in your head, maybe way before you're prepared to actually submit. So I was doing all this went on for years, and I was really writing practice books because I knew that I had a lot to learn about the craft of writing, as they call it. And I also heard somewhere that it often takes 4 unpublished novels before you're at a standard high enough to become published. So that was great for me because it gave me a ballpark to aim for. I knew that all I had to do was keep trying, write every day when I was able, and accept that it wasn't my first book that was going to get published, that I would, like any apprenticeship, I would need to work and work and work. And each of the books that I would write at the start of my journey would be practice books. I would write them, I would submit them, I would get used to the rejections. So that's what I did. And as luck would have it, the second book I wrote got picked up for publication, and I was asked to turn that into a series. And that publication deal, I also managed to get myself an agent. So once I got the deal, it was well, I say smooth sailing, it's never smooth sailing. That would be a lie, but it is great fun. It is a great career. I'm often asked for top tips, which are detailed on my website, but I would say you need to write every day if you can. You need to commit yourself to it, even if you just make your bath 15 minutes shorter, or you stop watching one of your TV programs. That gives you half an hour every day to write. So do that. Research the industry, make friends who want to write as well, because no one will understand it like other writers do. And keep going. Don't give up the day job, but don't give up your dreams either. Keep going, and you never know, you may well get there.
That's beautiful. That's lovely. You're really an inspiration in the sense that even though you had these problems and things were difficult for you, and you were going through those bits where you were a little bit poorly, you still put that work in, because a lot of people wouldn't.
I think I'm really lucky in as much as my physical health was dreadful, but I was also aware that with the inability to work anymore, a lot of my status was tied up in my profession, and that's how I defined myself. And I knew for my mental health, I needed to do something to redefine myself, because all the time I saw that I was disabled, which I am, and that I lost my job because of that made me feel dreadful. I felt that I was a failure. So I just needed to change the way I thought to try and do something that would make me feel better about myself. So it was probably less about carving out a career at the time and more about keeping my mental health on the up, so I didn't get too pulled into that self-loathing spiral, and that I knew that I was working as hard as I could to make positive change.
There's a deep strength in that. Because it means that because I know, because I've written, and I know how easy it is not to write.
It's so easy not to write.
It is. It's so easy to just. Oh, was I supposed to write today? Oh no, I'll just now telly.
Yeah, I'm going to put Netflix on. I think
Yeah,
a cup of tea. Yeah,
because it does really stretch you when you're doing that. So I think that, you know, if you can get yourself into a place, and I love that advice that you gave where you said just doing a little bit at a time and just sort of researching and sort of understanding. And it is a really, really big business, and there is a lot that you need to understand before you can do it, isn't it?
yeah.
I think, but I love that small, and I say it as well, even in coaching, when I do coaching, I say to people, if you really want something, you have to commit to it.
That's exactly it. I've been saying it to my children for years. If you want something, change is always possible, but you need to have a little bit of a plan, and you need to act out those changes, or everything's going to stay static. So realize what you want, then work out the tiny steps that you're going to take to get it, because big steps are often feel unachievable. Tiny steps you can do, you can achieve those, and they're easily measured. So yeah, you have to make change, you have to act out your plan.
Yeah, you know, it's often said, or I suppose information often comes through. It's often said, many people see people and they say, oh, look, they got a book out. You know, they go, oh, like, Kitty's got this book out, I'm going to do it. And they don't realise the journey. They think that Kitty just wrote a book and then it appeared on the shelves, you know?
There's a meme that writers love, and it's that iceberg meme. So the top of the iceberg is getting your book in shops or up on websites and being sold, but it's that great big underneath bit of the iceberg that no one sees. That's years and years and years of
of research and work.
And rejection. So much rejection.
So many rejections.
So much. Yeah, I'm really good at that. And yes,
things land on your doorstep.
There is never an overnight success. No matter how they pitch it or market it, nothing is an overnight success. Everything takes an awful lot of work. And loads of myths as well in publishing. I didn't know when I started, and I researched loads. I didn't know that I don't get to choose the title. I don't get to choose the cover. Writers don't write the blurb.
You didn't choose that title?
No. All of that is done by your publishers. You literally write the content of the book and then hand it over to the expertise of the publishers, who choose the title, write the blurb, and work out the marketing strategy. So there's so much to learn about the industry before you complete that first novel.
But it is beautiful. You must feel, I mean, obviously, like I said, you said your book's in many places, but it must feel so empowering to see that all that work that you put in is there.
It's crazy. It feels surreal. So like I said, I've wanted to write since I was a child. So I've often, like, we're talking decades, stood in front of shelves of supermarkets and looked at books and just sort of like had a little daydream for a minute. One day one of my books might be there. It's the culmination of lots of years of dreaming and working.
That is beautiful. And I love that, because with my coaching clients and the people that I work with, I'm always saying dreams are possible. We just have to.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really, really are. Yeah.
And like Kitty, I've always wanted to write as well. I've always written, and I've always told stories, and I've always wanted to write books, and I would never let go of my dreams. And it's one of the things I say to people all the time: no need to let go, just find other ways and just keep buttering away at it and taking one step at a time, you know, giving yourself the encouragement, because I think that's sometimes a problem, isn't it, for some people, where they don't get the hit they need straight away. So they get a rejection letter, for example, and then they feel, oh, I'm gonna try one more time, and they think, oh, if the third time I don't get anything, I'll just leave it. But that's not how it works, is it?
No, it's not. And you know, you have to learn to defer gratification if you're going to write a book. It'll take you at least a year to write your first book anyway, and then it'll take ages and ages for it to get picked up, and then suddenly everything moves at the speed of light.
It's because when we have dreams and ideas, and especially because being a published writer is a big dream for many people. So many people want to see their name.
Of course they do.
They want to feel that, especially if it's someone who's been writing for quite a long time. And I think what it is, it's that we do, and this is to go back a little bit to conditioning again, we do, unfortunately, through our lives, get conditioned that it's hard to do everything. And that kind of, and then they also, and like Kitty was saying about the industry as well, there's hoops.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And actually getting published is the start of it. Sometimes it's not the end point. We all see that as the end point, whereas actually you've got an even more to learn once you've signed that first contract. But it's certainly not instant. You have to be prepared to go in for the long haul. And yeah, that's why little bite-sized chunks.
So just so you know, this isn't Kitty's first book. What
No.
books? Can you tell us about the other ones you did?
Yes. Well, again, because I've been way too frank with you all, but I started writing expecting that I would have to write 4 until I got up to a publishable standard, which was a really useful goal for me because it meant everything I was doing wasn't wasted, but it gave me that time, those years, to know that I was going to have to invest those first. But, so for my second book, I decided to stick to the old adage, write what you know. I'd been a primary school teacher in Cornwall, and I had been single for the majority of that. So I knew quite a lot about dating in Cornwall, and I knew a lot about school. So I thought, great, I'll write a rom-com set around a primary school. So my very first book was about a head teacher who had to save her school from being amalgamated into one of these great big super academies, and found love along the way. Again, another journey of a heroine and growth. She was very reluctant to look for love. She had very defined rules. She had also been in coercive relationship. Another character, she'd been in a coercive relationship, so she was reluctant to put down roots. So it's also a story of her healing. And then that was picked up and has done really well, so well that I wrote 5 books in that whole series. So
what was that called?
The Cornish Village School. So it charts lots of the adults that work in school, teaching assistants, teachers, the PTA. Hang on 1 second.
That'd be lovely if you could show us it. The Cornwall Village School by Kitty Wilson.
4 to hand here. I'm not sure what I've done with the 5th. So they're all very similar covers, so you know what you're getting. And then
so you never know. You see, after this for December, you could read those.
You could.
Yeah.
You might have had a funny thing like that. The funny thing is, we all evolve, don't we? So when I started this, when I started the Cornish Village School, I was terrified. I was scared of offending everybody. So I was really, it's very much me, but I was really careful with them. By the time I got to every day in December, I thought, right, I'm just going to go full me on this one and see what happens. And yes, and it worked out okay actually, because people are being really, really great about it.
That's really good. But that's I love that as well, and I love that because that just shows about our journeys as people, our journeys through life.
Yeah, you're constantly evolving, aren't you? And yeah, getting more and more confident, one hopes, as time goes by.
Well, you know, it's even like this series, it's my new series, right? The Conversations with Experts. And even me going on YouTube was no, I'm not doing it. I'm not. Who do I think I'm doing? Who do I think I am? And then suddenly, I thought, no, do you know what? There's stuff I can bring out that even if it just affects one person and helps one person to find that little bit of information they needed, or just changes something that was really troubling them, then it's worth it. Before that, I suppose we have been culturally, and there's a lot of social construct around this need, especially with the social media, with the amount of people. Some people have millions of people following them and stuff like that. So it was kind of a bit like, well, oh, I'm not going to be those people. But now I just think, well, you know, if I can put love out and share me, even though you all probably think I'm crazy, but hey ho, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I just think, so yeah, so I love that. I love that evolutionary journey of doing one thing. And then I guess as you move through, that's going to move on even more, isn't it? In time, there'll be more.
Yes, I think so. I mean, I dread to think what I'll be like by my 10th book or my 15th. That will be quite unbearable. I'll certainly be quite rude. But yes, I think there's maturity as well with it. It is terrifying. I think whatever you do, whether it's your YouTube channel or the first book, it's that putting your head over the parapet and opening yourself up to a barrage of criticism. But actually, most people are really, 99.9% of people are really supportive. They want to help you on your journey. They're proud of you. They're not there to pull you down. That's just, again, your inner insecurities speaking. So if you're bold enough to make that jump and change things up a bit, then I think people are surprised the amount of support you'll find, because
I think that's lovely.
yeah, the majority of negativity is coming from your head. It's your self-critic. It's not the people around you at all.
Yeah, and that's beautiful advice, because that's not just about being an author, that's about everything, isn't it?
Oh, life right there, baby. Yeah,
that's life. See what you did, Kitty? You've just literally done life in a sentence.
you just have to remember that life does get in the way, but you're also in charge of creating the life you want to live, and you can do it. You just have to stop dreaming and start doing.
Kitty, you're amazing, because you say stuff the way I think it. So it's really great, because she's just doing my work for me. It's good.
Oh, sorry.
That was so beautiful, and I love that. And thank you so much for the advice about writing, because I think so many people want to get on and do something like that. And also another thing I think is a confidence about our own voice. When I was writing many years ago, I wrote many books, lots and lots of fiction myself, and I really didn't think my voice was right. I always used to be very uber critical of my own voice. And I think that idea where when you just said, no, just write, is just so much more profound, because it steps you out of that critical analysis phase. I think that's really important. And I love that you said that, because I think that, yeah, just get on with it really, rather than allowing your inner voice, your inner critic to start becoming a stumbling block.
Your inner critic will shut you down every time, because it fills you full of fear. So you have to be responsible, and you have to, assess yourself and make sure, constantly check yourself. But you also have to learn to say, no, that's my anxiety talking, that's my insecurities talking. You just have to be brave enough to put yourself out there sometimes, not hold yourself back.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, because that was a lot. And I really love the candle there. And the fact that you've just been completely honest about how it's felt for you and how it is for you. And no, it's lovely, because, that's what all this stuff's so good for, because we can bring, and this is what this conversation with the experts is all about, bringing out a voice from the real people, and how we really see the world, and what's really going on out there, and how it really feels to step into particular roles and aspects and areas of life, and how we feel in those things. And like with what you've given us, Kitty, we now have that small understanding of what it really feels like to step into being, am I going to be someone who's going to write a book? Do I want to write a book? Can I do that? Is that me? And also being honest with ourselves, I think, as well, about all of it. And I think that's just lovely. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Kitty. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm hoping that maybe you can join me for some of your other books, maybe in the future.
I would love to. I really would.
Thank you, darling. Take care. I'm going to
say
goodbye now. Thank you, everyone, for watching that wonderful episode with the talented Kitty Wilson. As you'll notice probably from the video, I did record it during Christmas. I did as much as I could to hide Christmas, but hey ho, Christmas is a wonderful time anyway, so what does it matter if you see a little bit of it still? Do keep your eyes peeled for the next episode of Conversations with Experts, where I will be talking with a lady called Kimberly Late, who channels the beings of light. There's so much of interest. There'll be 3 or 4 episodes of that, so I will be bringing that back to you soon. Take care. Thank you so much for joining us. Sending you so much love. Lots of love, and goodbye. Namaste, everyone. Take care. Bye.